Welcome back, live from Rogers Park. I'm Martin.
I'm Clay, and you're listening to Redline Rhythm, presented by Culture Captures.
So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about some albums that just dropped and whatever else that kind of comes to mind.
Yeah, these ones are, not all of them are super recent. October's been a super busy month for music. Some of these I think might have been back from September, but it's just the ones that connected with us the most, the ones that we have the most thoughts on. Some of them are our favorites, and just to keep people up to speed with new music and give out some recommendations.
Excellent. So the first one you want to talk about is 21's.
Yeah, we can go for 21. I think that it might not be the most popular out of these, but it's definitely one I feel like a lot of people have had a lot of thoughts on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I personally liked it. It's definitely a bit of I would say almost an evolution of 21, kind of. Just like, I mean, he talks about sort of the same things as normal, but kind of branches out. But his sound, it's like it's developed a little. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not like the deepest. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like a big reason why like a lot of guys that like came up at the same time as 21 Savage, you know, like around that like 2016 type era. Yeah.
Who else is that? Yachty.
Yeah. Here the thing is though that like when 21 Savage drops something, or Uzi for example, since they've been kind of evolving their sound, people are still tuned in, people are listening.
Yeah.
While like other guys from that time who like, sorry if I'm like shading anyone's favorite rapper, but like Lil Yachty, for example, it's not really news anymore.
No,
it's not. It's because like 21 is polished, and I think that shows on this album.
It's a very good analysis. Who else came up in that time? Denzel Curry,
Kodak.
Mm-hmm. Kodak is kind of the same too. I think he hasn't really.
Kodak's in prison. So
well, no, but I mean like even before he was in prison.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of change between old Kodak and new Kodak.
I've never been super huge on Kodak, so I don't know if I could give like a super informed opinion. Metro Boomin, again, just constantly hitting at the top of the game.
Yeah.
This might be a bad metaphor. It's almost like a fine wine, like Metro Boomin production. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you see wine, you know, you're just like, you have a taste of like a normal one. You're like, oh, come on, like how much better can this be? You know, it's all pretty much the same.
Right.
But it's like the same. It's like a first sip of like a fine wine, or like the first 10 seconds of a song produced by Metro.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like this is better.
And it's better than
the
last.
And I can tell immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's just... It just improves upon it so much. And that's not attributing 21's success to Metro. Mm-hmm. It's a very good combo.
Yeah.
And again, another big hit here.
Mr. Right Now is probably the song that I like the most. It's like the catchiest. It's the one with Drake.
Very nice.
And that one, like that beat is very 21, but it's like very new.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's like if there was any criticism of 21 before this, it's like, oh, it all kind of sounds the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's all the same kind of like dark beat, you know?
Yeah.
This like, there's like just some like smooth stuff, some stuff where he actually gets into like his past, like emotions and everything. Yeah. And then there's just like the old like, oh, you're like walking to your 9 to 5 and listening to just like some shit you can't relate to at all, but it's hard, so you like it, you know?
That's what that album has as well.
For sure, and that's just the classic.
Yeah. I think, for me, I wasn't huge on the album just because it just kind of sounds similar to me personally. Mm-hmm. And, like, Runnin' is, like, very 21 Savage.
I like Runnin'. Yeah.
It's very 21 Savage, but it's, I don't know, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the more popular ones as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't give it most of the songs a second listen other than like Mr. Right Now and
I'd say there's about like a third of it I'd say that I kept and am still mostly like listening to consistently, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hits and misses. The highs are high.
Yeah,
I'd say the highs are high. The highs are probably at the top of 21 Savage's discography.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
So, that's I'm not like a 21 Savage stan, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up, Gus Dapperton.
Yeah. I'm huge on Gus. You know that. And he's not huge. He's still on the come up.
For sure.
Still has very small shows. But yeah, I thought this album was really, really good. And it's not like his old stuff. It's like, it's still him.
Yeah.
It's still the same. It's still on brand. But, you know, he kind of ventures out with different beats and different singing and stuff like that. And I know you were kind of introducing him through Somewhere with
just that
Surf
single.
Mesa, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at my phone to like remember the names of the songs and stuff. But Palms I really liked. Did you listen to this one?
I did listen to it, yeah.
Yeah. Bluebird. He has a couple slow songs, like Swan Song, My Say So. I thought the whole album, except for maybe one song that I didn't really listen to that well, but all of them were in my rotation for till now. So yeah, I thought it was very quality. I've been a Gus fan since my freshman year, and yeah, I thought it was a good work.
For sure. Yeah, this was my first exposure to Gus Dapperton. Yeah, that came from that single. First thing that stood out to me is if anyone knows Porches. Sounds a lot. Porches is like this kind of indie pop band that Gus Dapperton, from the first impression for me, is like just textbook indie pop. Like if you want to know what it sounds like listen to this. But Porches is a bit more like kind of industrial almost. It's a bit more like toned down, kind of monotone. Big fan of them. So since I kind of equated, like the Gus Dapperton sounds like this, it already gave me a positive impression. It's got a like very sort of emotive voice, you know, like, I mean, kind of all singers do, you know, but it's just like, it kind of sets the tone of songs, like really drives them. Kind of, it like, I'd say is more important than the production, but he weaves in and out of like the production and like different sounds, like the classics of that genre very well. I was a big fan of Palms also, Posthumous.
I forgot that was even on this album because it dropped.
It's a single.
It's a single. Yeah.
Got it. Very good though.
Yeah.
Very good. Now most of the others too. The slow song Medicine also Medicine, really liked. So I was pretty solid on the whole album. One thing that I went to see, like, you know, just what others thought about this. So I read the Pitchfork review of the Gus Dapperton album, and they like ripped it apart. They were super harsh. Yeah. And I didn't agree, but if they had one criticism that stuck out to me that I sort of understood, is that they said it sounded kind of generic. It sounded a lot like kind of, and I was just saying it's kind of like the picture of like indie pop. What that just means, and like I related it to like, it sounds like this band. A lot of people are making this music. So like if I wanted to go from, I liked the Gus Dapperton album to I'm a Gus Dapperton fan, I would say maybe in like the next things he releases, I might need to see a little more. Yeah,
definitely.
That's the one criticism I would have. Overall though, recommend. Very good.
Definitely. I think for me it's because I listened to like his first album and everything that he's dropped since. Yeah. So I can kind of see like the changes and contrast them against each other. But yeah, I could definitely see that. There was those criticisms.
Yeah, it's definitely the difference. Yeah, because like you've seen the change in how he's made music.
Yeah.
All right. So I was gonna do a little. Couple words on the Bryson Tiller album, Anniversary. I overall did like it. Bryson Tiller for me is a little hard to nail down because he just like has not released a lot of music over the years. He's kind of a every 2 or 3 years type of guy. It seems
Frank
like
Ocean type.
Yeah. And I think Trap Soul was a groundbreaking, great album. Still sometimes is in the rotation. His last one, I think, from 2017, not as much of a fan on. It seemed like he it's a little forgettable, so I forgot the name. Yeah, it's just kind of seemed a little watered down Trap Soul, but like he tried to go into more like mainstream. This seemed like a bit of a return to the kind of like soft R&B rap type of sound that I think he's best at.
Yeah.
So I do think it was good. I don't think it was trap soul level, but like that's kind of, I mean, if you make like a great album like that, that's going to be the barometer for all your albums. So don't think so, but I would still probably recommend for people who like that kind of sound, like calm, slow Drake songs, like that kind of soft R&B rap type of genre. I think this is a good album in that vein.
Definitely. I wasn't able to listen to it that much because, I don't know, just because he hasn't dropped anything in so long, or he's like so sporadic with it.
Yeah.
Before he could like build credibility in my mind, I don't know. For me, I wasn't turned on to it.
No, I understand.
And like, I was a big Bryson Tiller fan, trap soul, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't drop anything for so long. Like Frank Ocean, I think has like more credibility with that. He's dropped so many like hits. He's like has a huge fan base and
a like tight fan base.
A very loyal fan
base. They are
like
obsessed with him, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he could drop something next year after like a huge hiatus. Yeah. It would still do well.
It's like you could give him 2, honestly, with like how just rabid his fan base is. That's not an insult. Like, you know, like if you're dedicated, you're dedicated. That's great.
Very passionate. Yeah. And Blonde did really well. I think Blonde was my favorite from him. Like Solo, White Ferrari. But yeah, so Bryson Tiller just doesn't have that same effect for me. So I saw it and I was kind of like, oh, I might check it out, but I wouldn't like sit down and devote time to like get into the album. Because usually I do that. I don't know if you do the same. Where it's just like, you want to like get your headphones in, like be by yourself and just like listen to the whole thing and like maybe listen to it again. Yeah. So that's what I do to like really get a good grasp of the whole thing.
I don't know if it's like super planned almost. My own kind of barometer is like, this doesn't work, for example, for the 21 Savage album, but it works for the Gus Dapperton. Is like, I mostly listen to music when I'm doing other stuff. So I'll put a new album on, unless it's like an artist I love, in which case I'll like dedicate more to it, while I'm doing my homework. And I'll see if it kind of stands out from the background. Yeah. And if I realize, like 4 songs have gone by and I haven't noticed, then I'm not really into it. Yeah.
That's what happened to me with the 21 Savage one. Because I'm not like a huge 21 Savage fan. I probably have like 19 of his songs saved. But yeah, I listened to it while I was doing something. And the songs that stood out to me were like Mr. Right Now Runnin', the one with Young Thug. But other than that, it was just like,
I feel you.
It just kind of sounded the same.
For sure. Speaking of songs that sound the same, Franchise, Travis Scott, Young Thug, and MIA. What were your thoughts?
I didn't think it was like anything groundbreaking.
Yeah, nothing special, but it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Like it's a party song. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if it's still number 1. I think it hit number 1 a little while back. Just because it's like wide appeal, you know. It's
Travis Scott, Young Thug. Yeah. They both have. I mean, Travis Scott mostly has a very kind of like Frank Ocean-esque audience where they're like diehard fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like. He's young kids. Not an insult, but like he's as mainstream as mainstream gets at this point. So like it's he'll always have an audience.
Yeah, I think if you like Travis Scott, because as much as he like branches out and does different stuff with music, I mean, it pretty much sounds very similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think this was a bit of a departure because he's usually kind of like production focused and on more like a more melodic type of stuff. Yeah. It's kind of like some like spacey beats from time to time. This song is just bass. There's like not even really beats. It's just bass again. And like, you know, it flows pretty well, but I've like it's already kind of stopped being in the rotation just because I've heard it enough and it was good, but like it's time to move on.
It's kind of like Highest in the Room. That's how that was for me. It was like it was a good song.
Never really got into it,
and then it just became so overplayed, and I mean that's with every song pretty much.
Yeah, but that's the falls of popularity, you know. Yeah. Is it just kind of
it'll get stale super fast.
Exactly, and it's not Travis's fault.
Yeah. He's very commercial now, I think. Obviously, like, once the McDonald's thing went, which I didn't expect, but, I mean, after that, he just went. Like,
honestly, yeah.
But, yeah, I think people that are fans of Travis Scott's music are fans of everything, pretty much.
For sure. What I mean? Yeah. It's a little bit of almost a sort of, like, amalgamation of multiple styles. And, like, I mean, everyone has, like, lots of influences and influence on other people, you know, but it's like Travis is like if you wanted to take like the past like 5 years of rap and like do like a slideshow on someone like on it, like this is one of the main sounds, like you would put on some Travis. It's popular with everyone. Yeah,
definitely.
All right, so moving on, you want to take Big Sean?
This one's like a slightly older, but it's probably like a month and a half old, maybe.
It might not be that much. I don't know. I think it might have been end of September. Maybe. I can check.
Yeah, but I would say almost every song on that album. Let me see.
Oh wow, you're right. Nope, month and a half.
September. Yeah,
damn,
early September.
Dead on, dude. A month and 2 weeks. Wow, impressive.
Or not every song actually, because I'm looking at him and he put like 20 songs on the album. I don't think I listened to them all, but half of them I thought were really good. He had one with Post Malone, which I did not expect at all. Wolves. I feel like you probably heard that. That one kind of got pretty popular.
I've never been big on Big Sean.
Really?
No, so I never really got around to this one.
This one, Wolves became like the NBA like finals theme song.
Really?
Yeah.
I always tune those out because it's all just a LeBron slideshow.
Yeah.
and he bullies the Celtics, so some negative feelings there. Congrats to him though.
Yeah. He's doing his thing. I respect it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him, just bad memories.
And his fans also.
Yes.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
He had a song with Nipsey Hussle that I really liked. Deep Reverence, and it was more like Nipsey.
I really like Nipsey Hussle. Yeah. He was probably my second favorite behind Thug, so I was very sad. Yeah. I mean, of course, you'll be sad when anyone dies, but that one hit pretty hard.
Different. Yeah. No, but it was more of a Nipsey sound.
That's good.
And the thing I like about Big Sean is his like character arc has been like one of the bigger ones in rap, I think, because in the beginning he's making songs like Guap. You remember Guap? See me getting Guap right now.
I do know some old Big Sean songs. Yeah.
And like Dance with like Nicki Minaj and like those type of songs, like club hits or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like developed into like his own sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, I get what you're talking about. Yeah.
He has a more I don't know, I guess he like found himself, and he spoke on this in interviews too. I watched his Joe Budden interview, and he was saying that like he's like taking time off from social media and everything, and just kind of like been more zen, and you can see that in him as an individual and in the music. He made a song with Anderson .Paak called Guard Your Heart.
Like Pac a lot.
You should listen to that song.
I'll listen to both the Nipsey and that one. Yeah.
Had one with Travis Scott. Did not expect either, but that one was good as well. But yeah, I thought the album was different from his regular stuff, but in a good way.
Good on him, honestly. Yeah.
Very
just
good, like character
developing, like taking care of yourself. You know, like that's good to see, even if I'm not the biggest fan of his music.
Yeah.
All right. Last one we are covering today is "Shore" by Fleet Foxes, and brilliant, really. I can't say it enough. Just really amazing. I've liked Fleet Foxes for a while. Again, I need to credit some people freshman year for getting me into the indie folk type of sound, you know. And Fleet Foxes were one of the first bands that I was exposed to. You know, it's very similar to vein to one of my favorite artists, Father John Misty. And one thing I noticed about their past music is very good type of instrumentals, very calm, kind of like Stark, honestly. It's a little more on the sad side. And then they've switched it up from time to time. They've had more swells and instrumentals, more energetic type of type of songs. And then their last album, Crack Up, I wasn't the biggest fan of. It felt something was a little missing. It was more on the energetic side, but wasn't really their typical type of thing. It just felt a little erratic, honestly. Couldn't really nail a sound down. And sure, this newest album, that's what was missing. It's just a perfect balance. It's the vocals and the music, they've kind of picked up, it seems like, a little bit of skills. Like their vocalist Robin Pecknold seems to be making bigger use of like the hooks, to kind of catch you in. They have just these calm songs where it's just consistent type of light guitar and smooth vocals over that, and then ones where it starts off super calm and swells into this big, just well produced, great instrumental. It's almost like their previous albums were like the metaphor I've seen, this isn't like a super original thought, but it connected with me, as almost like a person going through life. And in their first kind of albums, it was like, since they're stark, little more depressing, it was someone like coming to terms with problems. And then this one is like, sounds like someone who's like learned to live with problems and just kind of understands life. It's like, it's super warm. It's just this like cozy, great album. It's a pleasure to listen to. It really is. And first hot take of the Red Line Rhythm podcast, album of the year by some distance. Not much comes, like the only thing I can think of that comes close is Circles by Mac Miller, which feels like it was last year, but it was this year. But no, this beats it out. It's really amazing and highly recommend.
Yeah, I listened to a couple songs. I didn't really get into like the full album at all, but reminds me of Local Natives.
Really? Yeah. It's a bit more on the kind of folk side than Local Natives, but that's definitely the type of sound that got me into them. Yeah.
And later episodes we'll definitely speak more on Local Natives.
Absolutely.
Kind of putting people onto that. But yeah. Well, I think that's gonna be it. Thank you, Claire, for coming and doing this. And
of course.
This has been the first episode of Redline Rhythm.
Hope you enjoyed our thoughts, and thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.